Hey guys, welcome to Cult Film Review, the podcast where we discuss the films you love, but no one else gets, and we see if they still hold up. Tonight, I'm a little worried because this film hits home. Until I saw this film, I didn't realize that everyone on this podcast may be in serious danger. Kyle, Chris, Mike, you may all be in serious danger. I had no idea that being a PJ, if you don't know what a PJ is, that's podcast jockey, could literally drive a woman insane. So this week, we're talking about Play Misty for Me, the directorial debut of none other than Clint Eastwood. So let's just start the show.
Your Hollywood system stole our sex and co-opted our violence, so there's nothing left for our kinds of movies.
I did not hit her. It's not true.
Klopex? Klopex. Klopex.
Up yours, baby.
Me and Bubba, my little brother, listen to you every night.
Where in the hell are we?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey guys, I am your host, Cody Everett. Thank you for joining us whenever you're listening to this, morning, evening, noon, whatever, it doesn't matter. I would like to say, please subscribe to our podcast. Please fill out a review for us also. It helps us out a lot, helps us climb those charts that we've been trying to climb.
And are we climbing them?
We are.
We sure are.
We got a one new review. I will share that at the end.
Oh, shoot.
The
We got a
end of the
what? A
podcast.
what?
Yeah, I give a
one
shout
review.
out. Yeah, we got one new review on the iTunes.
Oh.
So when we get an iTunes...
Thank you for reviewing.
Yeah, when we get an iTunes review, we say thank you and we give you a shout out. So that's coming at the end of this episode.
A little encouragement for you.
A little gold star there.
Look forward to that shout out. It might be you.
That's how we know who's going to play Misty for us, is if you fill that out for us. Anyways, I'm Cody Everett, like I said before. I am joined by Kyle Smith,
Hey, how's it going?
Chris Willenbrecht,
What's up?
and Michael Salucio.
Hello, everybody.
Tonight, we're talking about Play Misty for Me. It is my pick. If you don't know, it's directed by Clint Eastwood. Came out in 1971. Had a budget of $95,000.
No,
950,000.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah.
$950,000.
Yeah, how'd it do?
It made a shit ton. It made $10.6 million. It was filmed in California at Caramel by the Sea, which actually Eastwood was elected mayor in 1986 of this town.
Interesting.
Yeah, it has a Rotten Tomatoes of 83%, and it is rated R.
Ooh,
Yeah.
restricted.
I think it had to be the
Interesting
boob
one.
shots because there was nothing
What
else.
boob shots?
There was at least one
What do you
boob
mean, what
shot.
boob?
There was
There
like-
was
yeah.
3 boob shots.
I did not see a
There you
single
go,
boob.
Mr. Skin. We got the boob boob
Thank you.
count up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you recall them?
Yeah,
I don't really
yeah.
remember any of them.
Hour 13.
1 hour 13.
Time code.
That's a
00.
Time code 1.
That's a
13,
wild guess,
25.
but around an hour 13 is when that montage was happening. So I think that's a pretty
Well,
pretty
no,
great
the first
guess.
time
I didn't see any boob.
Clint Eastwood lays her down.
Yeah.
You see it in like in the moonlight or what could I
You
say?
got some moon boob.
No, I didn't see any moon boob.
side boob.
Did I get the PG version of this?
No.
Maybe.
No, but
Jesus.
they're all are.
You just don't know it's boob.
If you're wondering, like, where we're talking about these boobs and maybe what we're talking about, if you don't know, this film is basically it's about a brief fling between a male disc jockey, Clint Eastwood, and an obsessed female fan, and that takes a frightening and perhaps even deadly turn when another woman enters the picture.
Yeah, it's exactly what
It
that
always-
is.
it always does.
It's so frightening
It
and deadly.
always does.
I do want. I do want to say. I'm going to do my spiel. I
Okay,
said I was
go
going to do is that I do want to say that I personally am going on record and saying this is not a cult film, but I'm going to ask you, Cody, why did you pick this film?
Okay, I haven't got to if this is a cult film yet or not. Okay, but
That's
we'll
fine.
get to that.
That's
We'll
fine.
get
I
to
just
that.
want to get that out of the
Going
way.
on record, you heard him.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a bunch of reasons I picked this film.
Okay.
Okay, so my first reason is I wanted to do a Clint Eastwood film.
Okay. And you went.
I feel like
you didn't want to go with American Sniper.
Well,
I find that odd.
I wanted one that he was acting in also. I feel like
Gotcha.
he himself is a cult icon. In my opinion, there are people who are dedicated hardcore Clint Eastwood fans that will see everything that he makes or has seen everything he's made 100 times. So I feel like he is a cult person.
Okay.
was one of the reasons. The second reason was that this is his directorial debut, which is going to link into another pick I have down the road. Not so much. It's just another debut of a director.
Mean Streets.
Not a Clint Eastwood.
That's what
Not-
you're
yeah.
Are you starting a trend of picking directorial
Just-
debut
well,
films?
just for the next one.
Okay.
And then the other thing is I'm not really that familiar with Clint Eastwood's work, honestly. Westerns were never big in my house. It's not something that we're ever playing. So I never got into Clint Eastwood.
You should check out Magnum Force.
Yeah. You never seen any of the Dirty Harrys?
Nope.
No Dirty Harry movies?
Nope.
None of the spaghetti westerns?
Nope.
Okay.
That's
Good, bad,
surprising.
but have you seen you've seen some of his directorial
I've seen-
stuff,
yeah, I've
right?
seen,
You've
like-
seen Million Dollar
Gran
Baby,
Torino.
Yep.
Gran
Seen
Torino.
those.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
His earlier films I have not seen.
Gotcha. Every Which Way But Loose.
But when I was growing up, I got into horror movies, and my mom, being the person that she was, said that the movie that she remembers scaring the shit out of her when she was younger was this movie called Play Misty for Me, which I had never heard of. And so I saw it younger, and I just kind of wanted to revisit it because I don't know if it is a cult film, but I feel like it should be because it's a genre starter.
No, it isn't. What genre? The domestic
It's like
disgruntled lover?
Like this, like the erotic thriller, basically. The erotic psychological thriller.
I feel like there has to be more before that.
What?
That's the. We'll just put
This
that.
is
we'll put that-
1971.
We'll put that down on a maybe.
Yeah,
we'll put
that might be a maybe.
That's the safe way to go.
That's a hard maybe.
But there's a lot of movies that follow after this in a very similar style.
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of introducing
Yeah.
the psychotic female antagonist.
But also the male too. Like they have. Like I thought about this too when I first saw this film. I just to talk about it. I thought for a second like there is a genre of film like Fatal Attraction. I'm trying to think.
Single white female,
stuff like that.
Swim fan.
Yeah.
They
The
all fall in-
psychotic.
the hand that rocks the cradle.
The psychotic female.
Glad we all threw something
The
out.
obsessive female lover.
The
that,
crush.
That goes. Yeah, exactly. But then I thought about it and I was like, there are male ones too. They have like
Swim fan.
what is it? Fear.
Oh, Fear. That's what I was thinking.
Fear
Not
is
Swim
like a
fan.
really big one where it's like the
Stepfather.
male
Yeah.
is the one that's the obsessive lover.
Right.
So it kind of goes both ways. It's not just a female thing.
Yeah.
But
No, that's been done
I am
before.
wondering if this is the first film.
I think where are you going before this?
You know what? I'm
Don't
far
worry, I'm
too
looking it
drunk
up.
to actually throw an educated guess out there, so I'm just going to say I'll come back to it.
Okay, no problem.
What was the question?
He wants to know if there were other films before this one
Oh.
that dealt with this kind of thing. And I feel like there was, but I honestly can't give an accurate assumption right now. So I'm just not going to attempt to.
I'm going right to the Hollywood Reporter for this one. Ready? Okay.
So has
Great podcast so far.
has anyone seen this? Had anyone seen this film before?
No.
This.
Nope.
All first time viewers.
I had seen bits and pieces of it. It's one of those films where it's like I knew about it when you said Play Misty for me. I knew what it was, and it was one of those films like I didn't
He's
really.
so full of shit right
no,
now.
no. It was one of those films like I've never seen Mean Streets.
Okay.
'Cause it's like one of those films where it's just like, okay, yeah, it's this is like it's a film that started off somebody's career or something like that. But I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
Because I watch films, and then you never get to those films
Well, this
for like
is-
a decade.
Yeah.
This
This
isn't
is one of those films for me that was like that.
This
Yeah.
isn't necessarily one that. Well, this kind of kicked off as directing, but not as acting.
No. Yeah, I've seen the spaghetti westerns. I've seen like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and stuff like that. I just had never seen. I mean, now you look at like Clint Eastwood barely acts anymore, really.
Yeah.
Unless he's directing his own.
Yeah.
His own thing. Now he's known as a director and a fantastic director at that.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just one of those things. Like sometimes you just got to get to it. You know.
Yeah.
I've never seen
No, I
Paths
agree.
of Glory. But I love Kubrick. But I've never seen Paths of Glory.
Hey, dude, I'm on there with a lot of films like that. Like I get yelled at all the time from people who yell at me.
It's mostly us in the room.
You
But not
yell
seeing
all
it.
the time for people who yell at you?
Yeah, for not seeing these, like for not seeing certain movies.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I know. That comes with the territory. You can't see everything.
Can't.
You can,
I
you can
never-
try, that's for sure.
This was always on my list, and the reason why is because I always remember the movie box cover from the video store with her,
Yeah.
her clutching that giant knife and him just kind of like laying there like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
what's about to
Yeah.
happen? I was like, damn, yeah, what is about to happen?
Exactly. What is about to happen?
to this old man on this street in this fancy car with this fancy house.
I don't think he's that old. Does Clint Eastwood have one of those faces where he's just always been an old
He's
man?
always been 65.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I don't think he's 65.
I mean,
but
dude, even going back to like looking at like For a Few Dollars More and Good, the Bad, the Ugly, like that was the beginning of his acting career, and he does just have kind of an aged look.
weathered face.
Yeah.
He's been through it.
He's
you know?
creasy. You
He did
know?
he did a lot of
Greasy.
westerns. Probably got a lot of sun damage. I don't know.
Yeah, like, being out there doing
He
them
did all those
westerns.
westerns for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. You know what do you expect? He likes the hard look though. You could tell by his acting style.
People like to tune into Cult Film Review just so we can talk about sun damage on certain actors'
Yeah.
face. It's
You-
You know, it's
Use sunblock.
one of those things that makes us a cut above the rest because we're offering something that they can't find everywhere else.
You don't hear
What is
Nerdist dropping bombs like that.
They
What?
don't.
They don't drop bombs like sun weathered face and where that may come. Where that
Just
may
drop
come from.
dookies on Clint Eastwood.
Dookies? No one's dropping dookies on Clint
Jesus.
Eastwood, but
That's
Jesus.
what you are, verbal dookie.
Oh,
A
verbal
verbal
dookie.
dookie.
All right, so why don't we take a break? And when we come back, we'll talk more about Play Misty for Me. We'll actually get into it. And I guess we'll drop some more verbal dookie.
Hours of music to be very, very nice to each other by. Caramel, Dave Garver speaking.
Hello?
Hi, what'll it be?
Play Misty for me.
Misty, huh? We have that right on the play rack. Thanks for calling.
I see you got your little Misty chick calling you again. All righty. Swing low.
You take it easy now, huh?
All right, guys, so we're back, and we are going to correct me right away. We did find a film that is pretty much this genre. Before this movie, it was Sunset Boulevard. So for everybody who's yelling at their car stereo or wherever you're listening to right now, Sunset fucking Boulevard, you idiots! We found it. So, my bad.
I love on-air corrections. Less editing for me to do.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about first was that opening scene. Let's get into that. It's very long, has a lot of credits. Here's my question for you, and I wanted to know if anybody else picked up on this. How long does it take to get from Clint Eastwood's house?
That wasn't his house.
Where was he?
He was at his girlfriend's house. That's why the painting of himself
Okay.
was in the window.
Well, then how long does it take to get from your girlfriend's house to the radio station?
Apparently,
Apparently a long
9
time.
hours.
Yeah.
Apparently all fucking day. It literally goes from day to night. By the time he arrives,
Maybe he stopped.
Yeah.
Maybe he stopped for a cocktail.
he does
on the
not
way.
stop.
I mean, was it like
then she was
4:30 or was it like 10 a.m. in
You know
that
what? Maybe
shot?
that's the reason why their relationship didn't work out at first. It was just like, you know what? Like these long distance relationships. She's like, but you only live 3 hours away.
She does
And
make
he's just like, but that's still long distance, technically.
She does make a point later on in the film to say that the house is secluded when she's going through all
Yeah.
of the roommates, like how it's hard to keep a roommate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, how fucking secluded
You
are
know
we
what?
talking about?
You know what though? Do you know why that drive took so long? And it's something that I already we kind of discussed was that in the 70s they put the credits at the beginning, so you had to fill
Yeah.
up the credit time with shit happening on screen.
Yeah.
What better than a drive with a real rock and jazz number?
Was this movie 270s for anyone here? It's very 70s.
Oh.
I didn't feel like it was.
I mean,
As far as
I've seen a lot of other 70s films.
I mean, Danger Died. Well, what was that? 60s?
That was 60s.
Oh well,
Um,
close enough.
The clothes and the hair mostly
Clothes-
really sell the early 70s.
not only that, but his house.
I love it.
I love his house to death, but I'm like, that's a fucking awesome
Does that house
70s
not have any doors?
No, it does. It has a front door that opens up to a stone pathway that
a koi pond?
is a koi
Is it
pond.
a koi pond?
Basically. It's great. Yeah.
He's got a tree growing in his living room.
in his fucking living room.
He's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's doing all right as a DJ.
Well,
Yeah.
what the fuck? That was my biggest complaint. Is like, how much does this job really pay? He's driving
Different times.
He's driving this sweet ass car,
Different
and he's
times.
in this like,
Radio-
awesome
radio-
I kind of want to agree with
house.
I wanna agree with Kyle, yeah.
I'm sorry, but radio was king.
Was it?
Yeah.
What do you
Radio-
have
yeah.
now? You have TV, kind of.
What
And then you have radio and film.
Yeah.
So he was like
video
a
killed the
he was like
video
a
killed the radio
celebrity, is
star,
what you're
but-
telling me. He
This
was
is
like
video killed the radio star, but video was not.
He was a low-
really,
exactly. This
yeah.
is the 70s. This is radio. He was making bank.
really okay.
Bank.
All right.
He was
fair
a
enough.
local celebrity who was about to. So the way I would equivalent it, especially with the relationship that he has later on with the older lady about the job he's trying to get, which is a great scene that happens later.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
But that is in my mind what I equivalated that was is he's at like the local station. He's at like your local news station, right? And this is his opportunity to get on like Fox News or CNN.
No, this is Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
like,
came knocking.
a big boy. Like this is a big one that came a knocking, and then this Evelyn shows up and then just
shits on that whole thing.
shits on the whole.
Well, she
thing.
shits on everything almost immediately. It seems like they don't waste any time
Getting into the
showing
crazy?
off her craziness.
No, not at all.
No.
But anyways, the movie opens up with the great long scene of him getting to work. Let me ask this question too. Did anyone else wish that he would have cast someone else as the DJ?
What? Which one?
Like
Clint Eastwood.
he didn't play the DJ.
Like if he would have cast somebody
else besides himself.
Wait, to some extent, yes, because I'm so used to seeing Clint Eastwood play or Harry Callahan,
Yeah.
or any of his Western films.
Yeah, he's always playing
He's
the kind of
always playing the tough guy.
badass.
It's really weird to see him in a.
Yeah, but I mean, he's done
Like,
he's done a couple movies where he's kind of against type.
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but it's always weird when I see
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood play a vulnerable character.
I thought it was I personally because I unlike you, Cody,
Thank
I did watch a lot of westerns growing up, and I went through a phase in probably high school where I did like I try to watch every single Clint Eastwood movie I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
And this just never was one of them, but it was to me personally, it was refreshing to see him play a more vulnerable, a more normal, a more everyday character, because his characters are always like, super cop.
Okay, so
super
here's my
tough
here's
guy.
my here's my question to you though. Do you think he accomplished that?
Um,
Do you feel like there was a fight between that
within Clint Eastwood's
range
range and
Yeah.
acting chops? He did the best he could. I thought it was
Yep.
pretty
No,
good.
and that's where my kind of point is too. Is like it's like, man, it kind of would have been believable if it was someone like in jazz, bro. Like you're a jazz DJ. Like, hey guys, just gonna read you some.
Why
It's
is
like
he
his
try-
impression of Casey Kasem.
That's exactly
is,
what this should have been.
Yeah. Hey guys, here's another jazzy tune for you.
All those slow lovers out.
Yeah.
Slow lovers
The people that take a long time.
to love.
You feel.
You know who you are.
All right.
I was waiting for him to be like, and then I'm gonna grab my gun and shoot every motherfucker in the room. You sons of bitches. Like it was just it was weird hearing his
It
voice
is really
as
weird.
a DJ.
Yeah. It is completely weird seeing him in this kind of role. But like I said, I mean, I can't knock him for doing it
No.
because I thought it was probably something he wanted to do after doing all these other Western cowboy action films. It's probably something he definitely really wanted to do was to break type, because right before this, the year before this, he did Two Meals for Sister Sarah, which is another Western. It's American Western, but it's got spaghetti style to it. And do I think Clint Eastwood has the range to play a fully emotional, fully what's the word you used earlier? Vulnerable character. I think he does. Does his voice and face get in the way of that? He is a very, very hard, cold stare.
He is like
and he has very harsh features, and his voice has a very, very low timbre to it. So even as vulnerable as he wants to be, it doesn't actually come across because
His face can't make those vulnerabilities
It's
happen.
not so much that his face can't make it. It's just that his face looks so. He's got that. When he squints, he's got that Clint Eastwood squint.
He's got like that 3 Mile stare. It's always constantly.
Yes.
But I mean, he does it in like $1 Million Baby. Like the first half of that film is just him being like, I'm a hard-nosed fucking boxing instructor.
Yeah,
or
but
whatever.
keep in mind that's after 40 years, 40 years of experience.
But I mean,
of
Gran
coaching
Torino's
people.
not like that. Gran Torino's like he's hard-nosed throughout the whole film.
Yeah, but
like,
that was
to
a
the
totally
day-
different character.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying that like he's always
He has
it's tough because
acting
he's built an entire career off of playing that hard-nosed, like hardcore character that doesn't let emotions.
He's a tough guy.
Well, like I mean, Unforgiven is like one of those films too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know really how vulnerable he is as a character really in this film either, because the things I will, and I know a lot of it is the character trying to protect his own ass, but with Clint Eastwood playing it, it doesn't come off that way in my opinion. A lot of the scenes he has with the detective, where he won't give information about Evelyn, doesn't necessarily so much come off as I'm trying to protect my own ass, as like I got this.
Yeah. No, I'll agree with that, and
I don't know what happened.
I would agree. I think part of that is choice of acting, how he handled the scene, but I think also, I mean, story that scene wasn't exactly probably not written the best to like, because why should he be so defensive? But I think you're right. I think the Clint Eastwoodisms.
I like Woodyism.
Yeah, Clint Eastwoodisms came through. So he's like. He's trying to seem like concerned or trying to protect himself, but it just comes off as "fuck you."
It is a problem because throughout this entire film, it is the one area where I was just like, just get a restraining order.
Yeah.
Like just get a restraining order.
Yeah, that's
like
the same.
you call up the cops, they immediately show up and they say, "Get the fuck out of here!" You have a restraining order.
Day two, I'm like, day two when she shows up with the groceries, I'm just like, why did you just leave when she said, "Oh, actually, I'm a fan"?
Guys,
I snuck out. I've been staking out this bar. I'm like, okay, that's creepy as fuck.
Hey, at the time, maybe it was flattering
because he was gonna get that. You know what?
Too many of these situations have happened since this film that nobody trusts that anymore.
Nobody goes for that.
What is that game they're playing at the bar?
It's not real.
It's not a real game.
It's not a real game.
They made it up just to hit on
get her over there.
Which guess what?
Create interest.
Guess what? Spoiler alert. He didn't really need. She was already there.
Yeah, but
yeah.
To answer Chris, it was a fake. It was just they were making up shit.
It was a brilliant setup, though.
That's a great. Yeah, that's how Wingman works right there.
They could have played it. Well, that's who is that? That's a director. The bartender's a director, I believe.
Do you think he was wrong for being flattered and
obviously? Did you watch the movie?
Yeah. Did you not see what happened in the movie?
I see. That's a possibility, but
so
I see what you're saying. You're asking, is it if the situation had worked out where it was simply I want to understand he never saw her again? Is he wrong? Is what you're asking?
Well, this is
This
is the question that I asked Mike earlier.
Okay.
And he had an answer for it. I want to see what you guys think. Do you think, and maybe this wasn't a thing in the 70s, I don't know, but do you think that his character might have been a sex addict? Or do you think he's just a player and he crushed a lot?
I think he is famous in a small town and he enjoys that fame and he takes advantage of it.
Well,
and the girlfriend alludes to that.
But that's why I bring up. I wonder if he's a sex addict because
I don't think he's a sex addict.
Well, hear me out first before you jump in on this.
I'm jumping in before you finish.
Don't see that's Clint Eastwood's problem in this movie.
Yep, I'm Clint Eastwood this entire episode.
He's jumping on him and finishing. So what I mean is like obviously that he had cheated on his girlfriend before with several of her roommates.
Certainly.
And it was something that they had joked around. So he was in a relationship, sleeping with this girl, and had no control over it. And not only that, after the 4 months that she's been gone or whatever, she basically comes back to finding him having more sex with other people. And then when they kind of get back together, he's still sleeping with Evelyn.
Hey man, it's a swinging 70s. What do you want?
They don't call it that for nothing.
I mean,
I don't feel like there was. I don't feel like. I mean, I guess maybe, but I don't feel like I have enough evidence to make a blanket statement as to say yes, he was a sex addict in the film.
I mean, I don't know that he's a sex addict. I mean, but it's definitely something that multiple characters throughout this film make mention of. Like, Dave's a dude. He can't settle down. He's always got his eyes wandering.
Yeah.
He's always the type of guy that can't like really commit to one girl, and that's his biggest problem throughout this entire film. I mean, that at the core, that's his biggest conflict.
Yeah,
is that even when Evelyn appears to be insane, he still sleeps with her again.
Yeah,
and again, and then it's like she commits suicide, and then he kind of like, well, maybe I'll just kind of
hold her.
Yeah, hold her, essentially. Let her stay at her place. I mean, I guess it all boils down to why didn't he get the restraining order? I guess I just answered my own question. But why doesn't he get his restraining order? Because he has this internal fault about himself that he can't say no to women. I guess, to some extent, or he can't say no to being
it was
desired.
It was even alluded that he was going to sleep with that old lady. It was alluded to that.
Well, I mean,
what do you mean?
Evelyn alluded to it because she was.
Evelyn was not the only one.
Who did?
His DJ friend.
His DJ friend was just giving him shit.
Nah, I don't know.
It wasn't a real thing.
But
That's
it could
the
be.
thing.
It could be he was giving him shit because this is his.
Yeah, but we don't know that. I can't make an
we
assumption.
We do know that from his past.
We can say that because we have to acknowledge the fact that the character that is his best friend knows more about the character than we do as audience.
All right.
I mean, how do you gather information from a film in any way?
And
it's always by listening to other people and how they describe the character.
Look,
definitely a pattern,
whether I agree with it or not is circumstantial. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying I personally didn't see it that way, but I'm not discrediting your opinion.
Mm-hmm. No.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the only reason that I think that character would make a joke, I would never make that joke to you. Because I know you're not the type of person that sleeps his way to the top.
Well, that's because I'm not good with women, Mike.
You think it's a
You're
common
not clearing this
trait,
one.
and
Right.
so that's just kind of like I know how you are.
If you're gonna poke fun at somebody, you normally do it because there's some level of truth to it.
Do you guys feel like Eastwood kind of went maybe too artsy in this film?
Artsy? No.
I don't think it bothered me.
I don't think I can't tell if it's artsy or just oversight.
No, I think I see where Cody's coming from because I did see a lot of shots that look like long shots, held on shots. He wanted to make the scene more grandiose and beautiful. Like even the intro scene where he's just at her house, like that whole helicopter kind of pan up to him shot is really long. Him looking over into the water is long, and it's like single tracking shot as he walks up the stairs, looks out in the window, and then goes back downstairs. Like these are all like more. I think they struck me as somebody who's directing for the first time, kind of wanting to do the things that he likes.
Well, and I also found that I think the way that he shot himself and God, what's her name? The one he actually likes.
Oh,
Toby.
Thank you.
Jesus.
Him and Toby. If you notice, a lot of their scenes together when they're taking the ring back to Mordor, a lot of their scenes are very shot very far away.
Yeah.
Even when they have that whole love scene in the lake, and I think that's on purpose to give you the feeling that someone is watching from a distance, like Evelyn or something like that, which they show earlier in the film too.
Yeah.
So
I think he did a lot of shots that you could say are like kind of an artistic way of showing like a POV. I think that was like there was actual thought put into that.
I want to say that I agree with you too because you make a good point. Yeah, why are the shots far away? But that's also like there's also a part of me that feels like this is just a 70s convention. There's a lot of shots that like it's like we got to play the whole song.
Yeah.
Let's just do a montage and play that whole song for like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt like that one scene is. It's like they go to
the jazz festival or
I mean no the whole like after the fact that after Evelyn gets arrested and then he's like making his attempt to like reconcile his relationship with Toby, and then
waterfall
they show
sex.
it by doing like waterfall sex, having sex on a bed of fucking clovers.
They look more like
going on a
moss to
beach,
me, but...
long walks on the beach. And it's all to this one song that just never ends. It just plays from beginning to end.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, that's definitely a thing in all films.
70s,
70s, a little bit 80s
as well.
A little bit 80s. Yeah.
You license a song. You fucking. You
that
got your money's worth.
That was a music video at that time.
Yeah.
Stop.
What's going on here?
Oh, don't send me away.
No, I want to ask you a question.
I just wanted to surprise you.
Surprise. What happens if he and I had been talking business? Or maybe I have female company or something and you come traipsing in with an armload of groceries. That would be some surprise.
I'm sorry. Why don't you keep that stuff? I think I've lost my appetite.
Hey, hang on a minute. I'm just trying to tell you something, that's all.
I don't understand. Should I go? Should I stay? What do you want?
I'm trying to tell you that there's a telephone. And I pick it up and I dial it. And you answer and I say, hey, what are you doing?
I say I'll be right over.
Fine. Next time, why don't we do it that way?
Did anyone sympathize with Evelyn, or did they just paint her straight as a psycho?
Sympathize with her? No,
as her character at all?
I wanted to at first. I didn't know.
I'll say this: I didn't know how to.
I
How am
don't
I
think
supposed
you
to? How am I
I
supposed
don't
to
think you
sympathize
can.
with her? She's the way I feel like she's portrayed and projected right off the bat is she's just fucking nuts. Yeah.
Dude, I love it. I love it too. Like just when she's in the car and they're number one. How loud were they talking
I
outside
know.
of their neighbor's
Yeah.
house?
No kidding.
They weren't even shouting. They were like whispering, and the neighbor was like, "Hey, I'm trying to sleep." I'm like, Jesus Christ! And then she
Yeah.
snaps, which is great.
Yeah.
She says, "Fuck off,
Yeah.
asshole!" Like, so good.
I loved it. I thought
Yeah.
it was a good performance for her to like snap in and out of these different personalities.
Even uncomfortable too. She did a really great job. This I feel like this movie is like an exercise in like forcing yourself to be comfortable in a very uncomfortable situation. Like I'll say that this entire film made I felt uncomfortable like 90% of the time watching this. Like
Oh yeah.
her performance was on point. Even the scene where she takes the keys and she's like kind of like she's
Jiggles him outside the
jiggling
car.
him like he's a fucking dog. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is Clint Eastwood. He's like, he's a badass, but I feel like shit watching this. Like, this chick is fucking brutal.
Because it reminisces that I don't know if anybody's ever had this situation happen to. I'm sure we all have had it, but that situation where somebody takes a joke too far,
Yeah.
and like if you're the outsider watching it, you're like, any second this guy's gonna punch this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how it felt that whole time.
Yep.
Like, just give him the fucking keys back, please.
Yeah.
Just give it, like, the joke's over. Like, we get
Yeah.
it. You know?
but it added to that creep factor.
Ooh,
though.
yeah, it did. Like, she just couldn't end it. She
I
just
think it maybe it added to the creep factor, but I think it definitely added to I'm gonna hate this person factor. Like, no matter what redeeming quality comes up, they just keep throwing more shit for me to hate about her.
I think it deals to also like that break of what we understand as social norms.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody should have an understanding of what to say to people, what not to say to people, how to react in a social society. Like, this woman is completely
Yeah, she's outside of it.
out the fucking she's off
She's
the fucking
outside-
reservation.
outside
Like, she
of-
doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely.
I love sorry. I was gonna say, I just remembered that one scene, though, the same scene with the car keys.
Yeah.
Hey, lady, you need help? Fuck off!
Yeah.
All right, let's go. That guy's got more problems.
No, the scene with the keys. The one thing that did throw me off of it was like the worst piece of ADR work in the film.
This movie has really bad ADR.
I was like, who the fuck was doing keys? Don't
Who
sound
was
like
on
two
the keys?
cans banging together.
No, this movie. I'll say that the sound design and the mixing and everything and the ADR work was pretty terrible throughout. Like, especially all those long walk scenes.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like they're a mile away on screen, but it sounds like they're in a tin can next to your ear. It's just like, all right.
I mean, who was a Foley artist on this? Like, what happened?
yeah,
Did
let's
it
look
work?
that
You
up.
don't
Again.
study Foley artists?
Yeah, sorry guys.
Um,
Let me go
he did not
consult
win an
my-
Oscar, I'm gonna
my
guess.
Foley encyclopedia.
Favorite scenes? Anybody got any favorite scenes? Let's start with Kyle. Let's go to Chris.
Oh, definitely. Definitely the maid scene made me kind of uncomfortable
Yeah.
and cringe
finds her?
and scared and
Yeah.
she finds her just crouched down, just tearing shit up, and the whole apartment's just wrecked.
She's
And
doing that heavy breathing thing, like
yeah. But you could, but that doesn't. I thought for sure. I'm like, dude, if I heard all that shit, I would not be going to investigate.
yeah, who the fuck invested?
That maid's like the one of the best characters in the movie too. She's instantly likable right off
Oh
the
yeah,
bat.
I like
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Instant charm, instant screen presence right off the bat. It was fantastic. And then
Birdie. That's her name.
Birdie. And then Birdie just gets sliced up like
Dude.
nobody's business.
Yeah. I thought she was dead, but
yeah.
turns out
Yeah, me too.
You couldn't
I'm
kill
glad,
Birdie.
I'm
She's
glad
too
that she
likable.
didn't die. Yeah.
She's too likable.
she got one last word in before they hauled her off on
And
the
she's just
stretcher.
like,
Did she make some smart ass comment? Is that what was her last word? It was
something about cleaning the place.
Yeah.
It was something about, I can't remember. That's going to drive me nuts. But yeah, it was something about cleaning the place.
Yeah, I would say okay. Yeah, my favorite scene would actually be at the end when Clint Eastwood gets to the house and all the lights are off, and Evelyn is running around unusually fast and dodging in and out of the shadows. It was
It's like
really
Chucky.
It was
running
a really
around there.
yeah. Well, I got what I got from that actually is a straight up giallo, Italian slasher suspense thriller. It had the exact same feel of the climax of the film like this one did, and she's you don't know where she's gonna pop out, and it was just I thought it was shot well, and I thought it was unnerving.
Was
Mike?
It's either the key scene because that's the scene. Where
That's just creepy as fuck.
It's just really creepy, but also like the ending is great in this. The death scene is
the
fantastic.
It's true.
And can I just say it's
a haymaker?
It kind of feels like it's misplaced in this film.
Yeah, totally.
It really does. Like to this point, like no one's really. I mean, a few people have died, but like in a pretty like humdrum kind of way. This one is like grandiose as fuck.
Yeah, and
like
you know
that woman hits that cliff like 8 times.
And like just Clint Eastwood's punch alone, I feel like comes out of nowhere.
I know it does.
It's like McFly's punch to Biff at the end of.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at him. He just finally got some strength to throw a punch.
But like if he punched Biff and then when Biff hit the ground, he exploded. Like where the fuck did that come from? It's a time anomaly, Marty. He explodes. Oh my god. Go on.
It's true though. They did get their money's worth out of that dummy body they threw off that cliff.
My favorite would be going back and would be the scene where Evelyn shows up. They all involve Evelyn.
When she shows up
when she shows up for the meeting and thinks it's another woman, and then just I was embarrassed for him.
Me too.
Like I was like, if this would happen to me, and he goes back. I was like, I would not go back.
I feel like
oh my god, I know he was so calm too.
And he's just reaching out the cab window, like trying to grab him. I love you. Oh, so good.
This movie takes so much patience to watch because every single scene just makes your skin crawl and your blood boil. Just like, why is this still going on? Why haven't you reported her to something? I don't care what, to someone.
And then when he does, they just let her out.
I was gonna say, since when do they just let like people who commit attempted
swinging
murder?
70s. What do you want?
Yeah, I didn't understand that too. I'm like, how'd they let her out? Like she clearly tried to kill this.
She definitely tried to kill her.
Yeah.
She stabbed her like 14 times.
I feel like they totally missed like the boat on this one, and they could have had a side story where she broke out and killed someone on the way.
And got a hold of a
because
William
that would have
Shatner
made way
mask.
more fucking sense.
That would have been a long drawn out scene, but I mean, yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean,
there's
it would have
plenty
made
of
way
them in
more
this
sense.
film.
Yeah, you could have saved like 40 minutes easy in various shots.
I think we could have. You know what? Actually, we could have
This is
cut
a short
out
film,
the
actually.
entire romantic long walks on the beach bullshit.
Yep.
If you cut that out and it just showed how Jessica Walter actually gets the fuck out of there by some weird means, like she seduces somebody and gets out.
But
I
I
don't
get
know.
why they didn't do it because it does set up a really good twist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Annabelle twist?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I thought that was fantastic.
Great twist.
I'll admit I didn't see it coming. Anybody?
Yeah, definitely.
As
At
the
what
roommate?
point did you see it coming?
Because when
At what point in the film?
dude, when she was talking about getting like she had a new roommate coming in, but she hadn't met her yet and all that shit. I mean, it's like, come on, that that would be my first guess as to who it was.
I don't know. I feel like you're using like hindsight to come to that
I agree.
conclusion.
They play up the roommate thing heavy, but
did.
you don't really pick up on it.
You know what it is?
definitely did.
I think we're so used to modern films really like focusing on it. This one, it kind of feels like it glosses over a little bit, but I got what I hear what you're saying, Chris.
I didn't feel right when she called and said, I'm going to Hawaii and I'm gone and blah, blah. I'm like, no way, there's still like 20 minutes left in this movie.
So that scene happens, so you pause it to see if there was more action to come. You're like, all right, she ain't going nowhere.
No. I knew something was something was going to happen too, but you don't know if she's going to show up at his house or her house when he's
That's
there.
what I'm saying. The twist is what I didn't
station.
see coming. I knew for a fact there was going to be a final showdown. That's without a doubt.
It
but
has to be.
her being the new roommate, because to Mike's point, they do gloss over it to the point that I completely forgot that she had a new roommate until he calls her on the phone and she's like, "Why don't you play a song for us?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, she's the roommate!" Like, god damn it.
I don't know.
Dude, can I tell you something?
Seen a lot of movies.
That's got a great thing too. But I want to let this be known, okay? This fucking movie did the close-up eyes thing, like the. You ever seen the internet video of like the gopher or hamster where it turns and it like zooms in?
Yeah.
They did it before that.
Yeah, it
because that's what it was.
invented it.
She sees the cuts on her wrist, close up to the eyes, and then it's the knife, and then close up to the eyes.
Oh, it's just like the freeze frame of like the wrist.
It
with
was
the
a
cuts
freeze
on
frame,
it.
too.
Yeah, it was. Super grainy. Like, it's really bad.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk more about Play Misty for Me. We'll be right back.
Okay, but they're really not necessary anymore, not for me.
Hey! People trying to sleep here.
People trying to talk here.
How'd you like to tell it to the law?
How'd you like to go screw yourself?
Hey, take it easy. Guy's just trying to sleep, that's all.
All right, guys, we are back, and we're talking about Play Misty for Me. 1971 is when this movie came out, directed by Clint Eastwood, his actual first movie that he directed. Let's get into some of the technical aspects, because I do want to talk a lot about this. Number one, just cinematography is on point.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good.
What?
I think it has its moments where it's really good, and then like some of it's just kind of like
If
on the budget they had, I guess.
If I'm gonna knock
agree with
anything,
Chris on that
if I'm gonna knock anything, it's like lighting in the nighttime scenes. It's a little dark, but I did appreciate shooting day for night. Did a couple of shots.
Day for night.
Yeah,
I think
that's always a tough one.
they were dark on purpose, especially in the end scene at home. Was to give you that illusion of like you don't know where she could pop out of anywhere because it's so dark.
So many
I
shadows.
think that's more of kind of a 70s thing, because there's a lot of movies in the 70s that are like that, where it's like the blacks are just fucking black, and it's like even on HD, it's like I can't really see what's happening in that.
My biggest problem, which I thought was jarring at some points, was the editing.
Oh
Yes.
There were some
100%.
cuts. There were some cuts where you're like, did that just cut? Like
That
you had
fucking last
Twitch-
cut, that final cut when he's driving to her house, and it cuts between him shifting the car and gunning it, and her cutting up his fucking his painting. And it's just like, it just keeps going back and forth way too many fucking times. It's so
Actually,
unsettling.
To be honest with you,
You loved that scene.
That was my.
You loved that scene.
It was.
didn't
It
you?
was. It was one of my favorite edits in the entire thing.
And-
Weird.
And there's there's this one of them I'm talking about. It's like a shot of the ocean. It's like one of those walking scenes, a shot of the ocean.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those ones where it's just holding on it for like a long time, and then there's just an edit cut. And it's still the same shot, but there's an edit cut like right in it.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
The editing made me. I blame it on the editing, I guess, but when he first thinks he sees her, like, but it's her roommate or whatever at the time, when he chases her down, I'm like, I did not pick up on what the fuck was going on at that time.
I thought that
Like,
was Evelyn, and he was like, but when I first saw that scene, I thought it was Evelyn, and she was walking towards his radio station, and he's like, and I took it as, what the fuck is she doing here? So he like chases her down.
Oh.
And then it's like, oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else. And then she knew who he was. I'm just more confused.
Yeah, I
like,
was so
what the fuck is
confused at that
happening?
point. I'm like, okay, I guess there's some other ex-girlfriend in the mix here.
There's always another ex-girlfriend when it comes to
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood?
Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
why I felt like it wasn't too artsy. It was because of scenes like what you just described, the painting mixed with the shifting of the gears.
Yeah.
You know, just like doing shit like they're just trying things out.
Experimental
or-
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like that scene too. I'm with Mike on this one. I think it gives a sense of urgency of him freaking out about.
The first 3 times it cuts, it does. The next 6 feel
So
unnecessary.
just because we were talking about the editing, I looked up the editor. His name is Carl Pingatore.
No,
Okay.
old Pingatore himself.
What he is known for? This must be where Clint Eastwood actually met him. He edited Dirty Harry, but everything before that is pretty much. There's a lot of TV going on here. Fantasy Island.
What year was Dirty Harry?
71, same year as Misty for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Misty for him.
Misty for Mike.
And The Beguiled. I haven't seen the. Oh, that's a Dirty Harry movie.
What?
The Beguiled.
That's not a Dirty Harry movie.
He's
The
hey,
Beguiled?
He's got the same Colt, the long-barreled Colt.
He just has.
Are you
that.
saying the name wrong, or is that a Spanish poster you're saying?
No, to beguile somebody. To the Beguiled.
That's not a Dirty Harry. I've seen them all.
Okay, hold on.
The Beguile? Yeah, I haven't seen The Beguile, the 5th one.
Have you
You got
The Beguiled, 1971, while imprisoned in a Confederate girls' boarding school, an injured Union soldier. Yeah, this is definitely not fucking.
Well, that sounds like sexploitation right there.
This is definitely not a.
Why don't we review that one?
But
The Beguiled.
in the actually, he's holding some kind of weird Colt revolver, but it's like a long barrel Colt.
I would say that again, going back to the editing, the biggest problem is pacing.
Yeah, totally. They just held on things way too long.
yeah,
I-
they definitely do.
Clint Eastwood could have been Sam Wise. His girlfriend could have been Frodo.
Oh, it's okay.
And they
It's a
could
Lord
have,
of the Rings
yeah,
reference,
going
okay.
back to it because there's that much walking in this movie. They hold on to it. I wonder what his idea was behind that too. Is like why hold on so many shots for so long? They hold on a lot of shots.
Artsy.
You know what
I don't
though?
know. I don't
Wait,
know.
I want to say the jump cut really doesn't become like a big thing until like I'm to the passage of time kind of thing, using the jump cut as a passage. Like nowadays, no one actually walks to a bar, pours a drink, walks all the way back to the guy, and does it. It's always just like a big.
I mean, we already reviewed Vanishing Point, which has several really long shots,
Yes.
but I feel like they served a purpose in it. Like the one that we discussed while reviewing that movie was when he's in the desert and he's just driving off in the distance, and it's a really long held shot, but that's also kind of like drive home the idea of the vanishing point and all this crap. To Cody's point, in this movie, the long shots don't really serve a purpose to prop up or support the film in any way that I can see.
I want to say that the only one that I can establish as being a possible that he's trying to prop up is the fact that, I mean, throughout the entire film, I was like, why a DJ? You know? All those long shots are
accompanied
by a long song, which it almost seems like it's either playing on the radio or it's playing as like the backdrop to the entire film.
Yeah.
Like why is that whole relationship between him and Toby established by one long 2.5 minute song to a montage of them fucking in?
I think it was just a way to. I think it was a way to bring in more
waterfall.
like pop music into film.
Hold on.
I don't know. I might be inclined to agree with that, but at the same time, I've seen plenty of movies from the 70s that do have like love scenes are drawn out where they're doing these things. You know, like that's just. This is the 70s. The audience's attention spans are still really good at this point. It's not until the 80s where shit gets cut a lot shorter. People want shit happening faster. I mean, this is just the way it was done.
What I guess I'm asking is whether or not this is a trend that Clint Eastwood jumps on as a first-time director. Like, yeah, I'll do this thing because
I don't think so. I
don't-
think it was
this is
just
the
the way
thing that's
movies were
going
made.
on.
What do you say we rate this Mammer Jammer?
I'm down with that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna rate it records.
Oh, not original.
Records.
Because he's a DJ, right? I got it.
Yeah, because he's a DJ.
Got it.
Baddest DJ. Here's another classic review from the Cult Film and Review guys. All right. Let's go with Mike. Let's go with Mike first.
It's a good film. Great directorial debut by Clint Eastwood. I would give it a 3.5. We tried to figure out like whether or not this like starts off the whole jealous lover phase. We came up with Sunset Boulevard.
It doesn't. So
It doesn't. No, you're right. It doesn't. But it does have that semblance of kind of like, I feel like it updates it. You know,
Mhm.
like
No, I
Sunset
agree.
Boulevard doesn't have the same feel of like a one night stand tryst that turns into a jealous lover that just doesn't leave. And then that continues with Fatal Attraction, and then we have other films that follow that as well. It's done well. Yeah, it's a little 70s at times, but like what are you gonna do? Like, don't watch a 70s film if you don't want like that. I would give this a 3.5. It's a strong film. It's strong performances by everybody. Jessica Walter, can I just say?
Say it.
Always surprises me. Whether it's like Arrested Development, which she's most known for, or like Archer or something like that. But
Yeah.
like even like the Doctor Strange, since it's out right now, the 80s Doctor Strange, she's like the best part of that shitty like 70s version of a Doctor Strange as well. Like she always brings it. And I think she brings it in this as well. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 for me.
All right. Next up is Kyle Smith.
like I said at the beginning of the podcast, like I'm not 100% convinced this is a cult film. I do agree with Cody's statement that Clint Eastwood is a cult film actor, and he definitely has a following in himself. I'm going to rate this movie probably 3.5 as well. It's a great film. It's a great first-time director. It's Clint Eastwood. Yeah, he doesn't quite fit the mold of the character that's written because it's Clint Eastwood, you know? You can't seem like a vulnerable wuss when you're Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
You just seem like you're always going to kick someone's ass at any turn. So, what are you on? Everything else was done pretty well. There was a lot of shots that were held on a little too long, I think, that could have been easily cleaned up with editing. Again, to Mike's point, it's a 70s movie. You got long shots. It's a long movie. So, I thought it was enjoyable. Check it out. It was definitely a movie that made me feel uncomfortable from start to finish. Like, I just felt, just uncomfortable and unnerved. So, he did a great job in that. So, good job.
Chris.
I'm not going to come in quite as high as you guys. I'm going to sit right at a 2.5. I waited a while to see this movie. I always heard good reviews from people who had seen it and said it's a great psychological thriller. I will agree that I enjoy the story, the overall story of it, the obsessive female, him kind of being in danger. But there was just a lot of things about it that kind of made me laugh. I was just stupid. You know what I mean? Like the whole him being Clint Eastwood trying to sell himself off as this jazzy radio DJ didn't really work for me. I didn't feel like Eastwood had a whole lot of range in this film. I don't know if he was just too focused on directing the film, that he just, in moments where it was supposed to be emotional or, it wasn't convincing for me. Although Jessica Walter, she is amazing. She makes this film, honestly, for me. She's a great, villain, I guess, antagonist. And she really shows off her acting chops in this. I think she was actually up for an award or something, Golden Globe.
I believe you're correct.
Something like that. Anyways.
I believe you're correct.
So I do recommend people see this movie because it is Clint Eastwood's first film that he directed. I'm not upset I saw it. I just wish it had I wish it was cleaned up a little bit more. I think it could have been a better movie if it was if the fat was trimmed out of it, and I think some of the music was a little misplaced at certain times too. So especially at the end when she's really pursuing him, and there's almost no music there at all. So I feel not much tension.
Yeah. I'm going to give this also 3.5. I really enjoy this movie. If you want to see a Clint Eastwood, the closest thing you're going to get to a Clint Eastwood horror movie, Play Misty for Me is it.
Closest thing you're going to get to Clint Eastwood not being a badass.
Yeah, in which he still is because he punches her in the face once and she flies out a window and down a cliff.
I call it the haymaker.
So I'm gonna give it 3.5. I really enjoy this film. It's one I feel like if you're a Clint Eastwood fan, or if you're not a Clint Eastwood fan, I should say, if you're not a Clint Eastwood fan, I feel like this is the film that you should watch. And the reason I say that is because it has other genre elements other than a Western, and I feel like he's kind of bottled in that genre because of his early films, and rightfully so. He's amazing at it, you know what I mean? But this is your chance to take a different look at him and see him try to do something different, which I give him a lot of respect for. A lot of respect, because at least he tried, and he directed a hell of a movie. I mean, this is, for a first-time director, are there some problems? Yeah, but otherwise, is it a good film? You're damn right it is. It's you've been solid from the get-go, asshole, number one. You're just that good. He's just, it's you can see the talent there, the raw talent there, and where it's gonna go as a first-time director, and it's really fun to watch this movie because of that. So 3.5 for me. Go check it out. That's what I gotta say. Check this movie out, definitely, if you haven't done it before. If you had, good job.
3.5 from Cody. All right,
guys. So before we wrap up the show, I did say we were gonna read off a review we got on iTunes this is from Pepe Pasante. Number one, thank you, Pepe, for checking us out. I appreciate that. Pepe says, great podcast. One of the few 4 guys around a mic. We have 4 mics, by the way.
Yeah.
We're
you
not
don't
all
get this
gathered
kind
around
of
one.
you don't get this kind of quality with one mic.
You put all this work into it, and somebody
they just don't understand it.
In one sentence.
They don't know what goes into
I'm
this.
out, guys. I'm done.
But it's one of the few that he still listens to. And he says, I think Dick Tracy deserves less than 3 walnuts, but that's just me. Thank you, Pepe. Guys, if you want us to give you a shout out, you can leave us a review on iTunes or on the Cult Film or on the podcast app.
Yeah.
Thank you for iTunes and cultfilminterview.com, and we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You can follow Kyle.
You can follow me on Instagram at cultfilm_Kyle.
Why you fucking do that?
It gets you every time.
You can follow Chris at.
Follow me on Instagram at cultfilm_Chris.
And you can follow Mike at.
Hi, you can follow me at Mike Solucio on Twitter.
I like it said I like that was an appear. There was on Twitter, like it was a question mark.
I'm gonna do mine in the style of Clint Eastwood as a jazz DJ.
You can follow Cody. Yeah.
You can follow me at VHS Collect on Instagram, punks. All right, guys, that's our show for this week. Make sure you join us next week. If you're gonna, I don't know, he's sleeping already. If you're gonna join a cult, just make sure they watch good movies. We'll see you next week.